Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Kodash, double honor to the apostles and to the elders and bishops at Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutation to the elect of the nation of Israel, to you I say Shalom. I'm just reading Bel and the Dragon, and I decided through the Spirit to make a lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying and straight to the point. I do have the King James Version up top of the screen and the Good News Translation with the Apocrypha at the bottom of the screen. All right. This is verse 3. Now the Babylons idol. Now the Babylons had an idol called Baal, and there were spent upon every day 12 great measures of fine flour. And 40 sheep and 6 vessels of wine. And the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. And the king said unto him, Why doest not thou worship Baal? Who answered and said, Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God, who hath created the heaven and the earth, and hath sovereignty over all flesh. The Good News Translation, verse 3 says, The Babylonians had an idol named Baal. Each day the people had to provide Baal with an offering of 12 bushels of fine flour, 40 sheep, and 50 gallons of wine. King Cyrus believed that Baal was a god, and each day he used to go and worship it, but Daniel worshiped his own God. Right? Because Daniel was a Jew. He was an Israelite. And the Israelites, the God of the Bible, Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, gave his people being the Israelites, he gave him laws, statutes, and commandments to abide by. Okay? And it's in the law for you not to worship idols. Leviticus 26, verse 1. Ye shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am Yahweh your power. Right, that's in the law. To not go after idols and worship false deities. The heathens, these other nations, they can do that because the laws and the commandments wasn't given to them. But we don't supposed to do that. Us being the Israelites, okay? Leviticus 19, verse 4, Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Lord your power. Okay? Let's get the next scripture. Salakia. I didn't have the precepts prepared. Salakia on my part. But this is Exodus, I think it's chapter 13, right? It's all good. It's all good. But back to back to Bel and the Dragon. So as you can see, Daniel, he feared the Most High. Okay, this is verse 5. Who answered and said, "Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God, who hath created the heaven and the earth, and hath sovereignty over all flesh." Then said the king unto him, "Thinkest thou not that Baal is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day?" And that just show you that these heathens, they're bugged out. Like the king really thought Baal, the idol that he set up, he actually thought that the idol eat and drink. And he thought he ate and drank every day. And Daniel smiled and said, "Okay, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything." That's right. The king being deceived. And that's these people in today's time. All you nations are deceived by your own vain opinion. You're deceived. Okay? You don't worship the true living power like us Israelites do. Okay? These heathen nations are deceived. So Daniel had to remind the king, "Be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything." So the king was wroth and called for his priests and said unto them, "If ye tell me not who this is that devoureth these expenses, ye shall die." But if ye can certify me that Baal devoureth them, then Daniel shall die, for he hath spoken blasphemy against Baal. And Daniel said unto the king, "Let it be according to thy word." And when you read the book of Daniel and also Baal and the dragon, we read that Daniel, he shewed integrity. He was dedicated and devoted to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Very loyal and faithful to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He was very beloved by the Most High Yahweh. Okay. A man of integrity. When you read about Daniel, let's skip down. It says in verse 12, "And tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Baal hath eaten up all, we will suffer death, or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us." And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they enter in continually and consume those things. So, verse 13 in the GNT says, "But the priests were not worried, because they had made a secret entrance underneath the table and in the temple, so that they could go in every night and eat the offerings." Right. So they wasn't worried, because they knew that were so confident in knowing that they was going to one up Daniel in a sense, because they made an entrance where you thought that Baal was eating the food and drinking the wine, but they really made an entrance where the wicked priests, their wives, and their children was eating, the food offered unto Baal. Okay, so these wicked priests were confident in a plain way. This is Ecclesiasticus 32 verse 21. Be not confident in a plain way, right? So the priests, they were not worried. they made a secret entrance underneath the table in the temple, But guess what? Yahweh Bashmal Shah sees all, he knows all, right? This is Baal and the Dragon, chapter 1, verse 14. So when they were gone forth, the king set meats before Baal. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont to do, and did eat and drink up all. In the morning betimes the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yea, O king, they be whole. And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Baal, and with thee is no deceit at all. Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in, and said, Behold now the pavement, the mark well whose footsteps are these. And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And the king was, and then the king was angry, and took the priests with their wives and children, who shewed him the privy doors where they came in, and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them and delivered Baal into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple. See? So the Lord protected Daniel, man. Looked out for Daniel. And when you read down, it's another situation where, the Lord protected Daniel and delivered Daniel as well. When you read verse 23 on down, okay? But we're dealing with the first part, all right, of this chapter pretty much. Let's get Psalms 135. This is Psalms 125, actually. I believe it's either 115 or 125, 135. Let's try 115. Yep. Verse 2, Wherefore should the heathen say, Where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. Right. So these different idols, false deities, and false gods, they may have mouths and ears and eyes, but they can't taste, they can't eat, they can't hear, they can't smell, they can't see, they can't walk. They may have legs, hands, they can't handle anything, they can't touch anything, nothing. Because idols are not real. They're just idols. You see? So when you go to Joel chapter 2, let's go to the prophet Joel, the prophet Yahweh Allah in the Hebrew, Yahweh Allah, chapter 2, verse 27. And ye shall know, this is it. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord Yahweh, your power and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. Right? Well, who is the Lord's people? The Israelites. Who are they? So-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. And we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, so we may very well look like the other nations. We've been scattered. All right? We're everywhere. If you believe in this truth, you're Israelite. Ultimately, because only the Israelites can and will believe in this truth, starting with the elect, namely the elect of Israel, will believe first and foremost. Okay? If your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're Israelite. It's the spirit that bears witness with our spirit that we're the sons of God. Okay? And let's get Amos. The book of Amos in the Hebrew is Imwas. I-M-W-A-S. Imwas chapter 3. Verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. That's right. And we're being punished for our iniquities to this very day. Because why? We've sinned against our power by being wicked, by committing adultery, by playing the harlot, right? By worshiping idols. That's playing the harlot. Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua is married unto us. And if we go off and worship other idols, guess what? We just pretty much committed adultery spiritually. Right? So ultimately we sin against our power. So we're in hell this very day. We're in captivity this very day. We're being punished this very day. So with that, all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom.